Okay, so by the looks of it, it's gonna be a long night. So I'm just doing stuff to keep myself occupied until I get sleepy, and then I can do it all again tomorrow. But anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and tell you guys about some really good books, like recommendations of mine, because I read a lot. I really enjoy reading, and it's not just a nerdy thing, where you read about stupid shit and, things that you could really care less about. There's really good books out there, like about stuff that relates to you in your own life. Um, I'd have to say one of my top ones is a book called 13 Reasons Why, written by Jay Asher. And that's about this kid named Clay Jensen. He gets a package one day, and he's like, oh, this is really cool. And he opens it up, and it's a bunch of cassette tapes. And they turn out to be from this girl who committed suicide like a week beforehand, who also happened to be his crush. And each cassette is a story telling, what each individual person on the tape did to lead her toward her death. What drove her to suicide. And it's so good. It really is. It's like it keeps you on the edge of your seat the whole time. You're like flipping pages and you're like, what's gonna happen next, or what happened next, because it's all in like past tense, and it's really sad. It's sad, and there's not really any humor to it. I usually like books with like a twist of humor to it. Like Lori Halls Anderson, she wrote Speak. She also wrote a book called Twisted. She is hilarious. Her books are so funny. In Speak, a girl is dealing with being the outcast of school. She just started 9th grade, and everybody hates her. And she's like so quiet. She doesn't talk anymore. She's basically a mute. And throughout the book, it unfolds about what happened, why she like ruined this party for everybody, back in middle school and everything like that. I'm sorry. And then Lori wrote another book called Twisted, which is about like this nerdy kid who becomes this awesome bad boy for drawing graffiti on the school one year, and he got taken away in a cop car with handcuffs, and everybody was like, that kid is awesome now. And then he comes back, and all this newfound popularity, it's overwhelming. But that book is so funny. And then another note, Ellen Hopkins books like Crank, Glass, Burned, Identical, those aren't so funny. I mean, she's got a little bit of a dark humor to it, but it's not like rainbows and sunshines. It's like drug addiction and sex and betrayal and heartbreak and a lot of stuff that, makes you think twice about doing drugs. And then there's this other book called Be More Chill by Ned Vizzini, and that one's pretty funny. It's like this kid who is not cool, pays like $600 or maybe $60, I remember a 6, for this thing called a squip. And what you do is you take it, it's this little pill, you take it and it gets like this computerized voice in your head, and it tells you what to do and what to say in order to be cool. And it's like in Keanu Reeves' voice and everything, and the kid talks to it in his head, and he's like, could you change your voice to like Brad Pitt or something? And the squip's like, no, we didn't get his permission, you're stuck with Keanu. And, stuff like that's funny. And then the squip tells him, look, if you're gonna go to a party, if you drink, if you do drugs or anything, you have to shut me off. Just tell me off and I'll shut off. Don't keep me on while you're high, because I'll malfunction. And the kid's like, alright, alright. So, you know, he shuts the squip off and he takes some drugs, and then he like got into it with this chick, this super hot chick. They were upstairs making out and stuff, and then her boyfriend comes barging in. He's like, I'm gonna kill you. And the kid's like, oh my god, I don't know what to do. So he turned on his squip, and his squip is talking in Spanish because he's high and it's malfunctioning, and it's like calling him like, idiota, idiota, andale, andale. And he's like, what's going on? I don't understand what you're saying. And the squip's like rojo alerta. And he's like, what, red alert, red alert, red alert. And he's like, help me, oh my god. It was so funny. But there's also, you know, a twist to that too in itself. And then another book called Exit Here by Jason Myers. That one is a little too much to get into, like to just like give you a summary. I'm gonna try really hard. Okay, this kid, Travis Wayne, he's like 19. He's a rich boy, you know, his dad's filthy rich. He's always gotten everything he wants. And he had gone away to Hawaii, and he was gone for a little while, and he lost contact with everybody. Like, for everybody, all everybody knew was he could have been dead for all they knew. So, and he comes back, and he's like, he's different. And everybody's like, so what happened? But he won't talk about whatever happened. And, you know, he slips back into his old ways, doing drugs, having sex. He runs into a lot of people that he screwed over, literally. And they're all like, you're such an asshole. And he's like, I'm not like that anymore and everything. But it's, it was really good. It was another page turner. It was like an Ellen Hopkins book, you know, like with the darkness and the drugs and the sex and everything. Sorry, I'm really thirsty. And then, but I do have to say that Ellen Hopkins' final book to the Crank series, Fallout, this one, it wasn't all that. No. That one's about her children. The book is about a girl named Christina. Throughout every book it's about Christina. And then Fallout is about all of her children dealing with an absent mother and different fathers and everything. And it's still beautifully written. It's just not my cup of tea. Maybe I just got burnt out on it. I don't know. What was another one? Feed by... Shit. What's that guy's name? Anyway, it's a book called Feed. Just look it up. It's pretty popular. M.T. Anderson. That's what it was. Because it was like Lori Hall Anderson. But anyway. Feed takes place in the future. And people... It's kind of like that one book with the squip, where you have the computer in your head, but they're called feeds. And basically, you don't go to school anymore. Actually, if you do go to school, it's to learn how to use your feed. And school's trademarked, by the way, which I think is kind of funny. And so are clouds. Clouds are also trademarked. Like clouds in the air. Yeah, they're trademarked. They belong to somebody. This guy named Titus, I think, they go to the moon for spring break. And the moon has like artificial gravity and everything, and it's got clubs. It's basically like Las Vegas. Anyway, they go to like this bounce house where they shut off the gravity, and he met this girl who was really pretty, and she was really down to earth. Like, she didn't have a feed from the time that she was born. She got it around like the age of 15, so she knew what it was like to think on your own. And they all thought that was kind of weird. They're like, what, you think for yourself, or you're kind of weird. But anyway, she kind of tried to teach him the way things should be. And they go to this club, and they get hacked by like this hacker guy, and he like messes up their feeds, and then they have to go to the hospital and get them fixed and everything. And since that one girl, her brain wasn't as intertwined with her computer as the rest of everybody, it kind of malfunctioned and like messed her up, and it was basically eating her from the inside out. But it's really sad, but it's good. It's really good. Yeah, those are books that would make you think twice about reading being for like nerds and shit.